Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, September the 6th, 2022. The market basically continues to work its way lower, but there was a lot more volatility going on today. So let's just quickly dive into this. No changes here on the daily chart, just there because this is where I start. So the larger count is that we're in a primary C wave, primary color green, primary C wave. So it's the finishing wave to the ABC cycle on a primary degree. And within it, we are, according to the way I'm counting it, we are dropping in, and I'll just drop to that hourly chart so we can see it, in 5 waves of intermediate degree. That will complete that primary C wave. So far on the intermediate degree level, we have dropped to intermediate 1 and 2. We're inside the third. The third continues to subdivide and subdivide, and eventually it's going to have to start finishing these or make itself very clear. And I believe we're quickly reaching that point where this could likely be just A of 2, B of 2. We come back up to this level and then go. So, but it made a new low today. But if I took it on a closing basis, it actually did right there. It equaled it. I don't know if it, well, I could do this. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, it did actually make a new low at 20,000, 20,000. Yeah, right. 12,003. But we know that it dipped lower. If we just put our candle back up, we know that it dropped down to 11,927 and bounced strongly off of that level. This is what the market now continues to do. It hits a new low and they just jack it and take off with it. And it hit a new low, and within the same hour, they just jacked it and took it higher. So it's very uncertain right now as to direction, and the market is telling you. There are no direct economic numbers coming out or major economic numbers coming out this week. Jerome Powell, I believe, speaks either tomorrow or Thursday, and they put him in red, on Econo Day, which is where I go to find out what's economically news is coming out. Numbers. So he'll be speaking one day. They've got him in red because he's a market mover. And I think that's what they're all waiting for. And it's kind of, I don't expect him to say anything different. And people are going to now hang on every word he says in terms of, will you trigger a buy or will you trigger a sell? And that's exactly where we're sitting. Now, the count itself continues to suggest additional downside. But every time we get it going, you can see again, like it did today, it makes a new low, it stops, something triggers where it's like buy it, because now it's even more of a buy because we dipped below 12,000. I don't know. But in any case, we still have our levels. And I will just once again go out to the daily chart and just move this down. Again, here for primary wave C now, primary wave C would be equal to primary wave A on a Fibonacci basis at 8,041. That would fit, but I don't think that it's going to stop this particular C wave. And again, I'm looking for the primary portion of the ABC corrections. That's, I was thinking, we would take us down towards the March 2020 lows, which in this index are down in here. So while 1.618 is 45.18, and yes, that would not be incredibly unusual for something of this degree. And then remember, what it completes when it gets there is a cycle degree A wave, and so you get a B wave. Now, when we get that B wave, it's going to be very, very, very worthwhile to trade it, to be long. But we're going to have to wait and get through a whole lot of hurt first before we get to that position. So again, I lay it out. Why I don't know why they're fighting it here. There certainly is nothing that would suggest that we turn from these levels and start moving above. There's one count that would cover a move above 13,741. And that would be that the B wave isn't in progress, that this isn't, that this ends up being 5 waves down or an ABC down, and comes in as an intermediate wave B as a part of that larger primary. I know it's confusing because of everything that's going on, but understand that that still is out there and legit. We haven't broken the levels where it would negate that count. The market itself keeps hitting harder to the downside, which what keeps it alive. But if it's just all a bottoming process and this is an ABC, then yes, the potential for a rally to turn and take the market back above exists. Now, cyclically, I think that we still have more downside to go before we get that rally, which will take us. And my thought is that it is a primary C wave down and that we will be rallying in that cycle wave B. So the rally's out there, but it's not ready just yet. And I'm looking now, then they're sitting, waiting for something that's going to give them the direction that we need to go and what we need to sell to make the adjustments to what we're being told. And again, these are the levels. So bringing it back down to that hourly chart, what can we look for tomorrow? Everything stays in place. Again, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then what's this? It needs to go, but we're waiting for Asian markets to open. We're waiting for the European markets to open before it cycles back, and then it's in the US again. So they're kind of just sitting. I mean, not kind of, they definitely are just sitting right now, basically unchanged. So it's got to move one way or the other. We have a lot of resistance coming up. If we're going to continue to move, we could, as I just said, possibly be doing a very strange wave 2, but I don't like it because it did go below wave 1 substantially. So I got to keep it as a 1, 2. And this needs to just continue to drop. A rally up, we got to break all this. We got the 8 at 12,043, the 20 at 12,069, the 50s at 12,126 to 160, 145, and then the 200s up at 12,413. I am not expecting something like that. Not with this count. So we will basically see what's going to happen. So everything stays in line. We have those support levels on the way down. We have our resistance levels on the way up. We wait for the market to make their little bit bigger decision. And that could come tomorrow, or it could come once Powell delivers whatever he's going to deliver. Over here in the S&P, it basically is the same story. We dropped down and we got to 38. 86, almost 87, and then just did the same bounce, all in the same hour. So again, 1, 1, 2, so intermediate, minor, minute, sub-minute, and it just needs to make its decision and go. I still am looking for additional downside here, and once we do get back below the lows today, we have 38, 77, 78, and that's actually where I believe it bounced off of today. It just came in a little short of it. But then we have 50% at 37, 39, 40, somewhere in there, a little bit below, a little bit above. I would suspect that these will present us with a pause. And then we have 3,600 and on down. Now, these are for the primary C wave. So where it can all end is pretty much 100% is 3154. Now we're looking for where wave 3 can come in. And we start to run Fibonacci extensions within. First on the, we can figure out third. This is the larger. This would be the primary. These are primary degree. We can put in intermediate degree. We can put in minor degree. We can put in minute degree, but you'll see the chart will not be legible. So there's that much going on, and that's why we're getting this. There is so much Fibonacci being placed into the market, just in algorithmically, that there's support and resistance everywhere. So we need now larger direction when the support and resistance is coming all the way down to this very finite area. So I think we will find our sea legs or whatever it is, and I believe that we'll continue to move. And I would suspect that we're going to continue to go down right now. Yes, bounces are coming, but we need to put in again another sizable, just a down day, and keep pushing down, and then let it rest, because we need there's a lot of territory to cover. So one way or the other is basically also what I'm saying. If the downside is to continue, which I believe it will, it is not finished yet. We will get to a point where we will have, as I've been saying, we will reach the low for primary wave C. Right now, from where I'm counting from, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees above us. 4. That's how small we've gotten with the count. We're down to a sub-minute level, and these would be sub-sub. So I don't go any lower. There's too much on the chart. So the market needs to tell me, where do I need to back it up and move it down to? Maybe this comes down to here. I don't know. But this is large. This, we'll figure it out. In any case, tomorrow, I think we'll find out. Same, we have the resistance, just as we did in the NASDAQ, and that's going to come in at the 8, the 20, the 50, and then we have the 200 just above 4,000. I'm not really looking at this. Again, we broke to new lows. If I put this guy on that line chart, oops, we did not, or we equaled it. See, this is what the S&P will do, which will force the NASDAQ to do the same thing. The S&P actually can come all the way back to here. We might just get back there, and it still would just be an A, a B, and a C. I'm not really looking at it that way because of how it did coming off, but it would just continue to make it only a minute 2. So within minute 2, we could be coming back up to here in an ABC. That's on a closed basis. If we go back to the candle, it would be a no, because you can see the candle dipped quite a bit below. That does present a challenge, and that's why I will go to the close only basis, because that's how I learned. I learned on a close to close basis, hour to hour on the close. And so this hour did not close down here. The hour closed up here. So again, depends on how you want to use the Elliott and where you want to stretch it. And that's not really even a stretch. So we'll get an answer tomorrow. We'll see. We could run all the way back. And we know that if they do it in the S&P, the NASDAQ is going to be right on its tail, if not ahead of it. Okay, I'm going to end it right there. And our next update will be on Wednesday, the 7th.